Welcome, everyone, to the Real Whovians cast. I am your host, Matrixlord212, and I'm with Scott. What's up, Scott?
And me without the time ring.
That's right. First of all, I want to wish everybody happy belated Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
As you know, I was off for a couple of days.
You didn't die.
No. I was actually cooking on Thanksgiving, and as I said, I can't be doing both at the same time, different things. Plus, I was just really working on a book, and I was like spending time with Sharon and just, relaxing. And the thing is that I know everybody was expecting to see video 5,600. Well, you are having that right now. This is video, my 5,600 video, okay? I saved the best for the review of the Fourth Doctor, Tom Baker's Genesis of the Daleks, okay? So you are finally getting that, and as I promised, I told you guys when the time comes, it will come. Mm-hmm. So before we get into that, we also got a milestone today. My channel reached 1,200 subscribers, so thank you very much. I appreciate everyone liking or disliking my videos and subscribing or watching me or whatever.
And sadly, Sharon's got carpal tunnel due to hitting the like button and subscribing.
No.
No, I'm joking.
But when they do that, there's a glitch that makes it appear that I lose subscribers at a double rate. But anyway, I just want to say that I'm not going anywhere. Sometimes, the holidays come and I like to spend time with the family, and I like to spend time just spending as much time as I can, with Sharon, when the kids come and stuff like that. But I do love doing YouTube, and I was also writing too, which that's another one of my passions besides YouTube. When I'm in the writing mode, I could be writing for an hour or hours or days. And in this case, I'm writing here and there for the past couple of days. So I always have intentions of doing YouTube videos, and now we are. So, again, I want to thank everybody for now 1,201 subscribers, which is very nice. And we got some videos that you've been waiting for. In fact, I got some surprises that you didn't expect. So right now, let's get with Genesis of the Daleks. And I'm going to try, we'll do this one. I don't know if we're going to be able to do any other ones because I don't know if our group was available with the holiday season.
Yeah.
There is a possibility that at a later date we could do more. But we're going to do Genesis and Daleks, and then we're not going to jump right into the next one because I want to try to get a couple of these out of there like I do. Like, people make fun of me. I do many robots and Earth in Space and Centauran Experiments. So I want to get this stuff out there, multiple viewpoints. This is one of the best Doctor Who episodes.
6-parters.
In my opinion, one of my favorite, 10 out of 10, hands down. Mm-hmm. And I know I constantly talk. Scott, you can interrupt me anytime because I'll start rambling. This is the first appearance of Davros, the creator of the Daleks, to which the funny thing is that the Doctor did not know he existed. He didn't know. He's always battling the Daleks so much, he didn't know who created them. So this was, from the start, the Time Lords had intercepted the transmat beam to talk with the Doctor, to pledge him, because they foresee at some point in time
the Daleks would be the masters of the universe.
And they said some type of war, which we now know as the Time War.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I'm well aware of, there's an article in the Time Lord law that they're against genocide. But they're against genocide unless their race is about to be genocide. So in other words, they will break that rule, okay?
That laws of time.
To save themselves. Any rule will be broken, even regeneration limits or whatever. Because again, at the end of the day, just like the Daleks will do anything to prolong and continue their existence, the Time Lords will as well. And I'm sure at some point every race would probably do the same thing just to survive. So they give the Doctor a choice. They said either erase the Daleks' beginnings or delay it or alter it.
Or manipulate it in some manner.
So it would not happen for an extended period of time. And the Doctor is left with a choice. You know, he's given the time ring, which will bring him back to the TARDIS, which is on Nerva, the space station. Okay.
Basically, Adventures Without the TARDIS.
Yes. So basically, they haven't had one episode yet that from Tom Baker just started the inside of the TARDIS yet. Okay. Probably because they didn't have the money to do it or build the set, but whatever the reasoning. So we get to see that the Doctor accepts, but he's not really into, like, you know, killing the Daleks forever. He's not going to stoop to anybody's level and become the villain that they are. Okay. And the thing is that the Doctor gets to see that they have the Khaleds, right? They have the
Thals,
the Thals and the Mutos. And the Mutos, I guess, are genetically altered versions of, I guess, what, the Khaleds or something like that?
Basically, from my understanding from the Mutos are pretty much mutations of both Khaleds and Thals.
Okay.
Russ was experimenting with captured prisoners and even on his own race in order to find out, pretty much give them a leg up.
Right.
Oh, because he was supposed to have foreseen a time when the Davros foreseen a time when even radiation was supposed to totally devastate them, and it was supposed to be.
And they were going to become this thing.
It's supposed to assist both Thals and Khaleds,
and they were supposed to become this creature. They're supposed to evolve in this creature that he felt would need to have a housing, a vehicle, something. That mixture between the creature and the robot type of thing, boom, not that it's a robot, but some type of thing that would become something that the Khaled race would be inside, that it would be one with, and it would be basically the Daleks. Now, the thing is that we got to see, of course, it started, they had the gas mist on, this radiation, this all that stuff.
Because they had battled for so long that even their own weaponry had basically devolved.
Right. And we got to see that they were on the run. There was explosions. They came across this bunker with dead bodies, which was a strategic military thing to make you appear that you have all these people with guns mounted and there's nobody really there in the first place.
Like Missy said, the one thing about Earth is that this was
Skaro. We're on Skaro.
Basically, in a way, they were taking from that the dead outweigh the living. But this way, they also said in that thing, even the dead have a purpose.
Yeah, they could use their genetic material to make it.
No, I mean, even the dead have a purpose because they were using them as to make them look like their army was.
Yes, they just used the dead bodies. But it turns out that Davros had done many experiments, on animals, on people. And the Dalek experiment was called Mark III. Mark III. And, we don't know what Mark I and II is unless the colony Sarf in the future was a Mark I or II, possibly because he was an animal. Yeah. And Davros experimented on animals. So he was a snake creature. So he could have been, you don't show all your eggs in the basket. Just like the Doctor didn't know that Davros was existing. Davros probably had many plans, many different creatures that we could still yet see if we get the right writer to think about that and actually just do it right. Okay? But anyway, let's get back down to business. Harry and the Doctor get captured by the Khaleds. Sarah's outside. She gets with the Mutos. Yeah. And the scientists, they take the time ring, they take the guy Raven, who was a general, right? Which he actually lives, if you think about it. But we'll get into that. He was what we would now consider, like, this generation, you would think of the First Order, and like the Empire from Star Wars, and he was like screaming, "We are the ultimate power of the universe!" Like type of thing. Like they just get this screaming mentality that they are superior, the master race, like the Nazis.
And they were based on the Nazis, basically.
That's what Davros is. Davros is like Hitler. He actually is probably worse than Hitler. Okay? And they are like the Nazis. And of course, the Daleks are even, worse. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that, he has Niter that, right, is his main in command. Of course, he can't do too many things. He only has one hand, and it's just command. Which was
pointed out.
Yes, he had one working hand. Supposedly, he can't see, but he can see somewhat, whatever. And from his superior intellect and his strategy, they follow him like a leader, sort of like Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And you know what I'm saying? They basically fought like, he's like in his own type of wheelchair, his own thing. And it doesn't matter because it's his mind. He's a genius, and they're following him. But he's an evil, evil, evil man. He's an evil dictator. He's a Hitler type, So the whole thing is that they get captured, and basically Davros is a genius. But he's not the ultimate genius because he doesn't foresee that there's aliens, and he doesn't foresee. He has limited thinking that he's superior and nobody comes close to me.
Because they even said the thing. There's no such that
7 galaxies.
Proving there was no intelligent life beyond Skaro.
7 galaxies, and meanwhile, there's more than 7 galaxies, and so Davros basically, because he couldn't find any intelligent life. Yeah, that's it. There's no more. That's it. We don't need to look anymore. We don't need to waste money. Let's build my thing. Let's do my thing. And that was the whole thing. It's like he just, in some cases, he's a genius. In other cases, he's stupid because basically, if he had known or used his intelligence, but he was just more like wanting to take over everything.
What he was wanting basically to do is do what Hitler was done. That would create the ultimate race.
Yes.
And that was his downfall.
And he didn't really think it through too much either.
Yeah.
Because he didn't really think how evil a bastard he was. I mean, he turns out, he finds out to his own arrogance what he created. But before we get into that, there's very interesting things that happen in here. Before like the doctor, they get to that part, the doctor has to rely on his companion to save his life. He steps on a mine, and Harry, of course, gets him out of it, okay? That's amazing, okay? Protects him, whatever. That's great. Sarah Jane's very smart. She's a genius. I mean, you may think right away. So they get, in other words, we'll get back to the doctor and Harry dealing with the scientists.
Basically, they get separated.
Right, and Sarah goes with the Mutos, and of course, they're like right away thinking that they're norms, meaning norms are the perfectly looking humans, the dolls or the Khalids. But this one Muto is like, oh, she's really nice. She's like not like these jerks or whatever. And it turns out there's this other guy that gets captured too that was originally against Sarah, that they want to get stuck together, because the dolls have them, right? And it turns out it's like you start to think, well, these people are at war with each other, right? It's 3 different races, right? And really, if you got together with them, they all could work really together. Honestly, when push comes to shove, even with the Daleks, everybody and their mother would team up,
Yeah.
So you get to see.
There was even a quote by the doctor at one particular time in that.
There's always hope, even in the darkest of circumstances, there's always hope that you could somehow, in the darkness, get together. At some point, it's like, well, everybody's going to be dying anyway, so, the hell with it. You're my enemy, but if we want to live,
the enemy
let's do it. Let's work together and let's stop the bigger evil. So this is the underlying thing throughout. You get to see different things. You get to see different styles of different civilizations. Like the Khalids, you know what? The government is probably really good, but then Davros, with his military, they're really evil, nasty, whatever. Now, there's also some members of the military that are followed. Like Davros basically saved this guy's life with this thing to repair his heart, and he did some nice things to get them to follow along. And in some cases, he did some nice things to get their loyalty. But then at some point in time, he wanted to eliminate the emotion factor,
which was the hindrance he felt
in the Daleks, so that way they could have no thing to stop them from destroying everything. They would never hesitate.
Passion from them.
They would never hesitate. They would exterminate constantly, which would mean that they would eventually turn on their creator because they are programmed that they are the master race, and even their creator is inferior, which is a kind of paradox thinking, which later on they will realize, hey, we're the master race, but we were created by something inferior. No, Davros isn't inferior in some cases. He's superior, but then that causes conflict later on. But we'll get to that. So I like the guy, Raven guy, because he's like the way he's loud and everything, but you get to see that he's not really like he could probably be reasoned with eventually because he acts like a military guy, and then the doctor whacks his hands, and he's like, "Ow!" He's not really a military guy. He's all like screaming and bark. It's like one of those dogs.
There's more bark than bite.
Yeah, it's one of those dogs that keep like with showing their teeth, and you get scared, but they won't bite you. You know, you go like this, like, ah, you know. So this guy, the people that they're not really in the military, they're not really good anyway, you know. But Nider is most evilest.
Nider, yeah.
He in some cases will probably be like Davros.
He will say or do anything in order to gain your trust, but in the end, he is loyal to Davros.
And at one point you thought he was going to turn on Davros, but he didn't. And that's the thing. It's like that guy could be somebody that could take over the Daleks if Davros died.
Somebody who could have easily swayed Davros to do something and then swung in from behind.
Yeah. So, but of course, you know, he dies in the end. But before we get into that, so we get this whole thing, and I'm sorry for jumping around, whatever. There's a lot of things going on. The Doctor and Harry are trapped. He loses the time ring. They grab it. They take his sonic screwdriver, take all his stuff. He's trying to explain to the scientist that the guy's name was Ronson, right, or something like that. Look, we're aliens. Without saying that they're aliens. Is there intelligent life out there? He's wrong. And you know what? These creatures, like there's these things, you know, like he's basically saying Davros is, you know, all this stuff is going on.
Is bat crazy.
Right. Now, Sarah is wound up, she gets caught, she almost gets killed by Muto. The Muto saves her, but then this other guy attacks them, whatever, but then they all want to get captured by the Thals. They get to work on, like, they get put to by this rocket. Now, their whole plan is to build this rocket to destroy the protective dome that the college protects, because they've been going to war for 1,000 years, but they can't penetrate the college dome, you know? So they're supposed to basically endure toxic radiation that could kill them. The word was dystronic Foxasemia, whatever, they could get that type of thing. I was trying to write down the name, but I can't really say it right.
It turns out that, jumping ahead just a bit, it turns out that Davros slipped them a chemical that could devastate the dome.
Yeah. Before we get into that, so Sarah, they're loading the rocket, but then she basically convinces them, screw it, we're getting the F out of here. Okay, so they try to climb up this thing. Super high. She's climbing. You know, everybody's getting shot. They're protecting her. And the funniest thing is that she's so goodwill and so she radiates like Elizabeth Sladen radiates.
Why she was in that particular mode.
Elizabeth Sladen as an actress radiates that goodness. Like you want to help her. You want to do good. Even if some of these people are evil, kind of, and maybe they kill people, maybe they just whatever. But when they're around her, it's like she's glowing with that. Like you just want to be with her, and she's a leader, you know, and they want to follow her, and they risk their lives for her without really even knowing her, because she's so sweet and innocent and good, and to hell with it, you know. So they're climbing up, and one guy takes a bullet for her, like he's like, you know, hits him in the back. Then she's climbing up, and then she gets, you know, she's frightened of heights, you know, and the guy's like, listen, you can do this, you can do this. She's trying to climb, she falls. Thank God she doesn't fall that much, maybe a level or two. He picks her up, he's like, look, we gotta go. They get to the top, and all of a sudden, it's too late. The guys are on him, the Thals, and then the guy, he grabs, what was that guy's name? The guy that was helping her out. I forget.
I hate when I'm brain burning.
All right, but anyway, that guy, he goes over the ledge, like he goes over, like jumps across to the other part, and then the Thal has to go onto the thing with Sarah, and she slips and she falls, and the guy grabs her. Now he doesn't. He was teasing her like, "Oh, I can make you fall, you could die, but I'm gonna save you because you're gonna go through hell worse than this, and you're gonna wish I killed you, right?" Yeah. So he's like gloating like a jerk, and then they basically get put back into their thing to do what they have to do there. The doctor is trying to plan escape, to try to get out of there. Sarah came across before she was with the Muto. She saw that the Dalek was shot
before during his third.
She got to see Davros for the first time, and she got to see the Dalek shoot for the first time, and she had that in her brain. And then it's like the Doctor and Harry, they are pledging the scientists. They get to meet Davros, and Davros is like, right away the Dalek goes to the Doctor and Harry. First thing that it would kill.
To detect that
the first thing it would kill in history, because they were doing target practice, was the Doctor. So the Doctor could have been the first kill of the Daleks ever. Because right away they saw it's an alien. It's whatever. It's not. Yeah. It's a threat.
It was not Khaled, or it wasn't.
Right, and immediately the scientist Ronson went to Davros. No,
pretty much flipped the switch on.
Flipped the switch. Said, "That's it. You can't kill them." Davros was enraged, screaming like, "How dare you!" Like whatever, I am the one. But then he's trying to, regardless of him screaming before he can get executed, he's trying to reason with them. Look, they're useful. We can learn from them. So he kind of puts the thing in Davros' head. Look, I will kill you for insolence. But then he kind of like is barking at him, like he's not going to really kill him because he has some semblance of truth. Because if they are aliens and if this theory is wrong, he needs to study them. He needs to see what the hell they are, basically. Nider, we got to see him early on when the Doctor tried to escape and when he just hit like Raven, and then they tried to use Raven to get them out of there. And Raven is like, confused because he's like, you got to be a Muto, or you got to be a Thal, or you got to. What do you mean you don't know? And Nider's like, everything's all right. And the funny thing is, the Doctor's got his back to him, like, yeah, all right, like get the hell out, and I'm like, whatever. But come on, it's like he knew, so he's walking away, but he's like, shoot them, And it's the thing, like Nider is just like, I don't trust anybody. Whatever. And then he's yelling. Nider's the scientific guy, and Raven is the head military guy, which is the craziest thing because technically Raven's higher up than Nider, but Nider is like Davros' guy,
his right-hand man.
So in a way, it's like they have to deal with the politics of it, and it turns out that Raven goes back eventually to the High Council because he's working for them, really. Other than, Davros has got money to do his projects. He's got his scientists, and he's got like his Nazi kind of guy that's a head scientist. But that guy's not the military guy. That's a scientific guy. You know what I'm saying? But he's kind of like Davros' bodyguard or whatever, So I found that guy was interesting because later on, well, anyway, the scientists basically, through talking with the Doctor, and he's like, listen, when they were introduced to the Dalek, you knew that what their name was. And the Doctor tells them in the future, the Daleks will kill they're evil and whatever. The scientist helps him. Ranson helps him to escape. And then, of course, Davros finds out about that. Okay. And the Doctor basically, tries to get away. This clam creature. Poor Harry with his leg. Harry with his leg, he's always getting like his leg hurt. Or like something happened. That's like the running joke with Harry. Yeah. He gets his leg caught or hurt, and Sarah's always climbing into a damn freaking air shaft or something. That's like the joke too. And so anyway, you see the Doctor is willing to kill this creature, hitting it with rocks, gonna stab it or hold it open just to get Harry safe. He gets out of there, and this is one of Davros' experiments. They get to out and they get to escape, and then of course they get caught. The Doctor and Harry. But eventually the Doctor gets away again, and he gets to save Sarah, which, he dresses up in that suit, and then he tries to foil the rocket, you know, and that doesn't go as planned. But he also tried to create with the Khaled High Council. He tried to get them to basically say how evil Davros really is. Now he didn't get the thing he wanted, but he got them to start to move a little bit.
Yeah,
you know, which caused conflict for Davros, because then he had to like trick them and plan and kill them anyway and stuff like that. But ultimately, Davros is like, who the hell is this? That these freaking prisoners. Immediately, the Daleks going to kill. I knew something was up with them. Why didn't I watch them further? What the hell are they doing? They're trying to ruin everything for me. He didn't even know the guy's name.
One of the things that Davros was doing was using Hera, Sarah, and Harry as pretty much lie detectors. Because if he did not answer truthfully, one or both of them would
die. Well, yeah, that's another thing. Eventually, they get, you know, the Doctor tries to then. After he tried to pledge the Khaleds to do something, he gets captured by the Thals because he tries to sabotage the rocket. And he also, you know, Harry and Sarah and the Muto guy, they go in there, and he's thinking when he got caught with the guy because he got electrified to the thing, he fails. Now he learns that Davros was going to betray his own people, his Khaled people, because he thought, well, you know what? They need a kick in the you-know-what. So if I let our enemies destroy the dome, then the college will say, hey, you know what? We do need the Daleks. We can't suspend them. And this will give Davros, like, in other words, Davros is willing to bring down his own race.
Yeah, he's willing to sacrifice anybody, for his own gain,
just to get what he wants. So he's willing to betray his own people to an alien or whoever, like these other things, just to get the Daleks off the ground. He doesn't care about. He has no heart. He has no this. And you know what makes me sick? I saw this. Somebody tried to do a story about how Davros is a good guy, and I wanted to throw up because I'm like, did you ever see like anything with Davros in there? Like, do you like this new generation? It's like they don't get it. They don't get it. Like people try to make, oh, there's no such thing as evil. No, there's evil and there's good. So don't give me that. Whoever created that whole concept that there's no real evil and there's no real good, that's like baloney. There's evil and there's good. And if you can't tell the difference, I feel sorry. But anyway, I didn't even want to read that article. I just saw like the guy was trying to say, I skimmed through what he was trying to say that Davros is good. Whatever. But anyway, Davros is an evil. He will sell out anyone. The only thing he cares about is his own life. And even if the Daleks are going to go against him, he killed the Daleks to save himself, but they create new Daleks. So the thing is that he sells out the Khaled race. He gives them the formula to put in their rocket to destroy the dome. And the Doctor was trying to stop that. And then he failed, and they hit the dome. Now, the Doctor was upset because he thought, hey, I just killed Harry and Sarah. Yeah. And he was miserable, and he's trying not to be like an emotionless thing, but he's like, what are you going to do? I guess I'll move on and this. But he's just kind of shocked, you know, and he comes across this woman, this Thal woman that, you know, she was part of their military. And she was like, and the funny thing about the Thals is that the moment that they thought they won, they were not like the Khaleds. They were basically nice. I mean, the Thals,
because in the original storyline, I know we're jumping off again. They were actually pacifists. They had suffered through war for so long, and they got tired of it that they actually became pacifists. And we learned from this might have been the reason of what the Thals became because of who Hartnell's Doctor met.
Now they were very nice. The moment the crisis was, they thought they won. They're ready to have parades. The guy's like, you know what? Every prisoner freed. We won. Who cares? They're gonna do anything. Then we'll do something. You know what? He's free. This guy, he was gonna Hey, we're better than them. You're free, sir. Whatever. And the Doctor's just like, I killed Sarah and Harry. And then the lady's like, you know, you can go at any time. And she's nice to him. And you know, even though they forgave him, they said, you know what? Whatever. It doesn't matter. They're better than the Khaleds. And he's trying to tell the woman. What was her name? Was it Betrin or something? Whatever her name was. I'm not good with names sometimes. But anyway, he's like, listen, you don't get it. The Daleks, he betrayed his own people for the Daleks, the creatures. They're going to kill your people. They're going to whatever. He's setting you up. So he kind of penetrates. Then, a little less connection. Hello? You see me? Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. So then they start to see the Daleks coming to kill the Thals. And she's like, oh my God, you're right. And he's like, he basically makes her like a leader. He says, you need to be the leader of your people. And to me, it seemed like she was kind of like she reminded me of Joe Grant in a way. I don't know if it reminded you, but to me, she reminded me of a Joe Grant. But she was a military lady. So he's like, listen, you're the leader. And that's it. He basically gave her the confidence to lead her, and he says, team up with the Mutos. You know, that was the whole thing. He wanted those two groups, Mutos and Thals, to get together to stop Davros. And even the Khalids to team up all three. Screw it. The Khalids overthrow Davros, the Thals, the Mutos. Everybody get together because ultimately this guy
was the primary evil.
Yes. Ultimately. And then you get to see some of the people with Davros are really not that evil. Like the guy, what the hell was the guy's name? Was it Garmin? Garmin, right?
Yeah.
He was one of Davros's top. He was there when the Dalek first shot. Come along, Garmin, right?
Yeah.
That guy, he did not want them to be. He said, Davros, these Daleks, you want me to take out the emotion. And we can't do that. And Davros like, you basically, and he said, yes, Davros, okay, I'll do it. And then, you know, scientists started coming to Garmin and together, and they're creating a revolution. They're trying to overthrow Davros, you know. And then we finally get a Niter that basically, you know, tries to trap Garmin, you know. And immediately Davros is like, no, don't kill him. He's gonna be a prisoner for now. I want him to witness me taking over, and then I'm gonna probably do some dissection on his brain, and maybe I'll make him a Dalek, or maybe I'll make him something, you know, like an experiment, you know. But I guess he had some type of respect for Garmin because Garmin did serve him for whatever, you know. But whatever. But ultimately, Davros just whatever. So the Daleks are just all over the place. And long story short, we're going to go to the part where the Doctor. I'm jumping around, okay? But the Doctor, Sarah, and Harry get captured by Davros, okay? And basically the Doctor's like, you know, I'm not going to tell you anything. And then they grab Harry and they grab Sarah. They put him to the table, and he starts to torture them. Of course, the Doctor's like, screw it. I'm going to tell you everything. But if you notice, all the things that the Doctor mentioned, he didn't mention that he was the one that defeated the Daleks. Because what would happen is, then they would immediately go after his past selves and possibly kill him and possibly alter it. So even if they did get the hands on the tapes, hopefully he would entrust that he would figure out what's going on, and you know, in the past. But the main goal after they made that tape was, and I think he gave some wrong information here or there. You know, well, actually, no, he did. No, the thing did tell if he was lying, but he was kind of not being. He was omitting some things. That's the word. He was not telling them the whole story, just bits and pieces. But he gave a lot of years and a lot of dates. But you know, kind of off, whatever. But anyway, so they have this tape now of the whole timeline can be altered. So now the mission is to get the time ring and to get the tapes.
You get the tapes, yeah.
Got to destroy the tapes. That's the main thing. And you know, the Doctor has a conversation with Davros, like a personal conversation.
If you had a virus, would you? And Davros is sitting this. I know I'm summarizing here.
Yeah.
He says to be able to destroy an entire life span by simply breaking the glass.
He wants to be the power to just press the button, everybody dies.
Yes, I would.
I don't care everybody.
Just as he breaks the little capsule, acts like he's breaking the capsule, that's when the Doctor flicks a switch on his own control panel so they could all escape.
But see, here's the thing. Davros says he wants the Daleks to be just the only beings in the universe. But Davros pictures himself being with the Daleks, And Davros, the pictures, he would keep people alive, like scientists and people, to work under him. Like, in other words, he would have humans like Niter and different people to basically, because he would never trust completely probably his own race, you know, because he needs some human to go and reach, and the Daleks can't reach and think. So he thinks I'm always going to have my group alive with the Daleks, but the Daleks can rule everything. And that's what he thought, you know. And it's funny, but the Doctor was willing to kill Davros. He hit the life support on his switch, and he says, "I'm going to kill you. So give the order for the Daleks to die." And then Davros does that, but then he gets control and he's like, "Cancel the order." And the whole thing is that Davros is such, and this is the biggest thing in like life. You have an ego like that, you're going to get defeated, and you're going to be so skewed that you can't think clearly. Because all you can think about is that.
Your destiny.
Right. And he's going to break rules and things. So he doesn't see that those other aliens. He doesn't have that open mind that anybody's better than him. And that's why the Daleks always get defeated, because they think they're bigger than everybody else and they get defeated. Ultimately, Davros is a slimy, wormy, nasty. I mean, he's basically doing experiments. He's got all these the creatures that would be the Daleks, like that creature thing that they evolved into. He's already got them in the. You there, Scott? Hello? Hello? Everybody there? Well, anyway, we lost Scott for a second, but he's basically not a good guy. He's evil. And he's basically would sell anybody out, okay? He just wants everything destroyed. He doesn't want anybody to be around. And ultimately, he gets his punishment. He gets the Daleks. We lost Scott, damn. Ultimately, the Daleks turn on Davros, okay? But the Doctor has been given a choice. The Doctor basically rigs everything to be exploding. And he says to Sarah, like, you know, if you had the choice, would you kill, if you knew this kid was going to grow up into like a Hitler or evil, would you kill the kid and save the universe? And she's like, yes, do it. And the Doctor's like, no, I can't lower myself, and I can't be as evil as the Daleks are. I should not have the right to kill anybody, genocide anybody, because I would be as evil as they would if I made that decision. Who am I to have that type of power? That's the biggest thing with the Doctor, is the Doctor doesn't feel he's that strong or that this. He's trying to save everybody. He's trying to be a good guy. So he's never going to, you know, go against his own rules and do a thing of genocide and kill everybody. He's not going to do that. So that's what distinguishes the Doctor as good and Davros as evil. And the thing is, we ultimately see that Davros gets everybody, tricks the whole people. He's trying to make, like, let's take a vote. I surrender, and just give me a chance. And then ultimately he tricks everybody. The Daleks come in, and the Daleks basically kill all the rebellion, the people there. And then the Daleks start to turn, and they're like against his people. And before that, you know, the Doctor basically gets the time ring back. He gets all that stuff back. And then Niter, it had a little fight with Niter. He drops the time ring. He's trying to get the tapes. They blow up the tapes, okay? And then they get stuck in the room, and then they get freed. And then the whole thing is that he gets the time ring back, and he's like, look, I'm going to blow them up. The hell with it. I changed my mind. He tells Sarah to go with this, you know, back to the group and get out of there before there's explosives with, you know, the mutors and everything. And he tries to get the wires set up again. He tries to go in the room. He tries to get that. And originally he was choked by one of the creatures that would be the Daleks, and, you know, evolution thing. And he basically, you know, Harry and Sarah saved him then, but then he tries it again. He says, look, I'm going to put the wires together. And before he could do that, the Dalek comes in and runs over. It's such a, you know, explosion. He tries to get away. And meanwhile, you know, Davros basically is now left with the Daleks, and the Daleks kill Niter. They kill the scientists, and Davros is screaming, don't kill the scientists. You know, I'm your leader. You can't kill me. You can't kill me. And they're like, well, we're programmed that we're the master race. And you are not a Dalek. You are inferior. So, and then he goes, right before he's about to die, he makes a decision. You know what? I'm going to kill all the Daleks. And he was going to hit the switch. And the Daleks kill him. They kill him. And they already had a plan going on where they disobeyed Davros. They're already trying to sanctify their existence. They already had plans to make other Daleks. They took one step ahead. Once they came into awareness and freedom, they were already trying to continue their existence. They were thinking of plans, how they could survive if something happens. So that's what they were doing. They were planning already, and Davros didn't like that. I mean, how could you just obey my orders? He was very limited in thinking that way, to think that they would just be loyal to him. And he basically created his own defeat, his own monster. I mean, they turned on him because they thought, you know what, we're better than you. Which is kind of a paradox, because if he's inferior and he creates the master race, then he should be superior. I lost you there.
Yeah, my router decided to be stupid.
That's okay. So I was just talking, and I was saying how, I'm talking enough. You talk.
Okay. What I remember the most about that episode is, one, of course, the introduction of the Daleks, basically. When Sarah sees the Dalek at the training mission. And it's like, oh, God, I need to tell the doctor. And that's what spooks her the most, because she remembers seeing him during her tenure with the third Doctor, John Pertwee. And then that famous speech he gives, where he says, life could be better without the Daleks. Colonies of races wouldn't even know the fear of Daleks. And if somebody pointed someone out to you and told you that person was going to grow up to be evil, would you be able to do it?
Would you kill a child? Would you kill a child knowing that he would be Hitler?
And Sarah came back and says,
yeah,
this is the Daleks.
Just kill it.
They're the most evil thing.
And he also said he starts to think.
The Time Lord sent you here for a mission.
But he also starts to think. Yeah.
And, of course, then finally, things were pretty much set up.
But before that, he says, but wait a minute. There is good from the Daleks, meaning that all these people band together that were enemies.
Yep.
And you got planets and people coming together as groups to defeat the Daleks.
One cause.
Right.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
So ultimately, it might be a good thing that the Daleks, I mean, not that it's a good thing, but in other words, good came from it. Good will come from darkness.
Yes.
So then he says, how could I do that? What if something worse happens?
Yes.
Because of my intervention. So I can't do it. And he just gives up that whole thing, rips it out of the wall.
Back inside that room, removes the...
Rips it.
Yeah,
he just rips it.
Pretty much plucks out the wires and runs away. But then finally later on, due to everything that was going on, he realized, okay, I need to do something. So he dives back in.
He said, screw it, I'm killing.
But before he has a chance, a Dalek comes rolling down the hallway. So in a sense, he allowed the Dalek to be the destruction of its own race.
But of course, they were already sentient. They were already planning to expand themselves without Davros's opinion. They said, listen, we're the master race. Let's plan now, because somebody's going to destroy us. So if we die, there'll be Daleks everywhere else. So all of a sudden, they're planning it. And then when Davros finds about it, he's like, what the F?
Yeah.
You listen to me.
And Davros was even
pissed
over, like, how could you go above me?
He didn't care he didn't care maybe that was even better.
No, you're not. We.
Yeah, he didn't care even if they were right.
Us.
He didn't care even if they were right or smarter or whatever. No, we stop this right now. Why? Because I am the ruler. No, you're not. What do you mean?
Compassion, and they even said
mercy. Mercy. Yeah.
Show mercy, show compassion.
No, they're like, that's not part of our programming, because that's what he said. He put that in there. They're not supposed to do that. So that he was the one that was going to kill his own creation in the end, and he couldn't do it because they blasted him.
Yeah,
they killed him. They killed Nider. They killed everybody.
something happened.
Before we get into that, yeah, we'll review that later on. Yes.
Yeah, we'll review that later.
Davros, of course, comes back.
Folks, that is what's called an Easter egg and your cliffhanger for Davros.
And basically, Karma is a Dalek. In this sense, Karma for Davros is a Dalek. And they just shoot him because they're like, you know what? Sorry. But here's the thing. They believe themselves the master race and that he's inferior, but the inferior, if they believe him as inferior, created the master race. So eventually, there's a paradox in their programming where they're like, well, wait a minute, he's not inferior. He created us, so he's superior. So then they start to think, well, and this creates a thing because some of them think he is the leader, and then some of them think no. And then there's all these different factions eventually of Daleks that we don't even really know because it could be all different factions throughout the universe that are fighting each other. Because at time there was like 2 factions, and who knows more. But anyway, that will come to that. But again, when you become, your own thing, you can even have civil wars. Like we have a civil war. We had a civil war, So that happens because they're their own race and their own thing, and they eventually are like, oh, these Daleks are this.
Thinks they're greater than the other, and eventually.
Right. And then they used to do with colors. They used to be like, oh, these colored Daleks are evil. These colored Daleks are evil, but they're on Davros' side. And then it's like, then they even had different colors, and in the Victory Daleks, a whole bunch of different things, different shapes, different this. But eventually, that's the whole thing, is that Davros' thing is flawed because he thinks that not having emotions will make them weaker, superior, and they're not superior. I mean, they are tough.
No, he felt that having mercy and compassion, emotion in general, was going to make them weak. When in reality,
But he was doing it in the end.
Yeah,
and he wanted people again. He was an evil person, but he would keep people alive to serve his purpose. Yeah. He can't get out of the chair. He can't reach. He needs something. And the Daleks can't do that either. The doctor
even pointed out. He said, okay, you've got Davros here. He can only work one hand, and the safe was maybe 2 feet, 3 feet.
Niter can only do it.
So he needs Niter in order to get to that.
And he probably, if anything happened to Niter, he would have extended his lifespan or something to serve him. Or whatever. Because at the end of the day, the Daleks, they need somebody because they don't have hands. They don't have that ability yet. So, they don't even have the thing to fly and all that stuff. It wasn't even invented yet. They evolve as time goes on.
Now, even though in the comic books beforehand, they did have the ability to, on these little circular disc things, in the TV show, we wouldn't see that until the Sylvester McCoy episode.
Now, people would say, because the doctor said that it will take them 1,000 years to get out of that explosion thing. Now, keep in mind, they're like, well, how can it take 1,000 years? They don't have hands.
Yeah.
So, because they blast and then more stuff falls. And they blast and more stuff falls. And then they have to find a way to power themselves to have energy to keep going on, plus do other stuff. So, yes, it will take 1,000 years. It's almost as the equivalent of like someone's trapped in a room and they don't have hands, or they're trying to use their mouth or their feet to eat or something like that. Davros was like handicapped. He couldn't, whatever. So the Daleks, technically, that's why Davros says you need them. Because you would need workers to clear out the mine or clear out this. Because you can't walk over gravel. Nope. They just flat, So that's why, yes, it will take 1,000 years. It will take 1,000 years to get out of there because that's all they have. They don't have any humans to help them, And that's the thing. That's why it is highly believable.
Slaves, like in the form of the pig.
Right. Eventually, they do. They realize, hey, we don't have hands. We don't have this. And in some cases, they try to evolve to be like human things, and it doesn't work out either. But anyway, ultimately, this was the ultimate one of the top classic Doctor Who episodes of all time. You got to see
the Pinnacle books, the little 10 things. That's one of the 10 books that Pinnacle put out. So
you got to see the best of and again, they weren't humans. No. You got to see the best of people or aliens, different races, and saying, listen, regardless of disagreements, at some point in time, if things are bad, you do whatever to survive. You'll work together. You'll get a treaty together. You'll do what you have to do together. And ultimately, there's a bigger evil. And the bigger evil of the Daleks.
Yeah.
That and Davros, which everybody teams against eventually. Everybody. And that's the whole thing, you know? And I really love the way the style of the episode is. You got to really think the thought that came into writing this episode and the characters. And they weren't just scrubs. Yeah. I got mine over there, actually. Yeah, I got mine over there. Let me grab mine. Yeah, and you could talk for a few minutes because I chew everybody's ear off.
That's all right.
Go ahead.
No, but yeah, like I said, the Pinnacle books are the best out there. Yes, you probably have to look on Amazon or eBay for them, but Genesis of the Daleks, perfect. A very well done episode. And if you want, this could be one of the episodes that you introduce people to. Yes, it's 6 parts. And this is one, and every single time I've seen it more times than I could possibly imagine. And each time I forget that, yeah. And each time I keep forgetting that it's a 6-parter. And
no, I'm talking. Keep talking.
Yeah.
I
forget that it's a 6-parter that I thought, okay, good. Here comes the end. Oh, that's right. It's the same episode every single time.
What, you forget the 6 parts?
I keep forgetting it's a 6-parter. Yes. I do. Like I said, every time I see it, sweet.
Right? That's so freaking cool, man.
I raise you.
I raise you this birthday gift.
Oh, sweet.
That time.
Oh, yes.
From Mike D got me that time.
That is nice. That is nice.
One of the greatest things ever, man. You have to say. Yeah.
That is nice.
And from the side.
And it's got my favorite doctor, too, I have to say.
Shame on me for being dusty. I do apologize.
Yeah, I thought I saw something, but
yeah.
You want to see dust. That's that Dalek I saw you.
I don't want to drop it. So, again, continue to talk. I'm sorry.
But no, this was Tom Baker was my first, and he'll always be my favorite. And I always thought about a few years ago, getting off subject, I thought it would be so great that Big Finish I wish Big Finish would do like the old Doc Savage, the Phantom, the Shadow, old pulp hero things. And I started thinking, Tom Baker would be great for the Shadow. Think about it. That famous voice doing Lamont Cranston. That would be awesome. But, the Genesis of the Daleks, primo episode, and it is one that somebody, if somebody wanted to know a good Dalek episode to start with, this is definitely.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
This is one of the starters. Yes.
Watch this. You can watch this first.
I will say this much: the whole Davros storyline, it was great, but when it started getting old real quick. Because if you notice, after the introduction of Davros, every Dalek episode after that had Davros.
And you know what the thing is too? He is a great villain,
but you
can't have him all the time, right?
Yeah, it literally got to the point where I looked. You could go, oh, cool, like 20 episodes. Ooh, oh, cool, Davros.
Right. After a while, you'll see. All right, Tom Baker with him like twice. You'll see Peter Davison. I mean, it's just over and over. Tom Baker, right?
3, 2. Okay, I'm 2 seconds off. I mean, yes, Davros was great. He was great to see, but they could have used him in a limited basis.
Limited time, which they did in the New Who, because it took years, and then finally Russell T Davies put him in Stolen Earth, Journey's End. Yeah, and it was perfect.
That was a great way of reintroducing him, and the fact you find out.
Excellent with David Tennant. Excellent.
Scarrows.
And I'm glad that the Ninth Doctor didn't face him, because then it would have been too much of a thing. So David Tennant fought him. Matt Smith did not. Okay, and then we got Peter Capaldi, which was excellent. You can't have Davros appear all the time.
No, he's one of these great villains, which I can understand them hinting to Davros, like there's an evil behind this, But to have Davros, it's like having the same game plan over and over again.
It's listen. We know the Daleks appear every freaking year,
Yeah.
and after a while, it's like, well, really, do we need to see him every year? Okay, that's the contract, right? But Davros doesn't have to appear every year. Davros, was a creation differently, and that was somebody else that created, but they kind of use. And the thing is that it's special when Davros appears.
Yeah.
Some doctors may not face him.
He's like let's say 100th episode anniversary. Okay, we use Davros. A special anniversary of some sort, or celebration anniversary.
Like, I wouldn't expect Jodie Whittaker to face Davros.
Yeah.
And if she did, he wouldn't appear for another 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Or maybe they would have her face him more, because that would be a key thing, but then not use him for a long time.
And that's what's the great thing about Davros, is you can hold him back, and when he actually shows, it's like, oh, now that is great. That is an episode that Davros should have been in.
And you know what? The thing with Missy appearing with Davros that time was cool, but we didn't get enough of that.
Yeah.
Because the thing was that the Daleks became so ridiculous that the Master was scared and afraid. But the Master was afraid after a while, ran away. Screw that, and it's like, we didn't get that much, that the fearedness of that. It was like the terror that would cause who would make the Master run? Really, not even the Doctor, but the Daleks did. Until after a while, then I guess she got it out of her system, but it's just a thing. Because and we're talking with Capaldi and Missy, it's like, she's like, the first thing she did when she tried to get him on her side when she first appears, Missy, she's like, you could stop the Dalek camps, you can go against the Daleks, because, boom, immediately, Daleks, I hate them. It's like, whatever.
In fact, they concealed the fact that they were on Skaro at one time. That was perfect.
Yeah.
Because you think that you were on a space base, and it's like, okay, the gravity is all wrong.
Yeah, but not to get away from Genesis of the Daleks. We're just going to say that the whole thing is that the Daleks are really one of the greatest villains of all time. Davros is one of the greatest villains of all time. And it's great that we get the perfect 10 episode, I feel.
Yeah.
Genesis of the Daleks. Now, again, I hope we can do more parts to Genesis of the Daleks. May not happen right away because we have other news to talk about. So I hope you enjoyed this first part, hopefully more to come, of Genesis of the Daleks review. Thank you for the 5,600 video. Thank you for the 1,201 subscribers. And we will be back in a minute. So take care. Bye for now.
Ciao.